Another one. Another one. Oh my god, another one. Another one.
Hello guys, I'm checking my sound.
Oh my god,
Can you hear me loud and clear? Sound check, sound check. Sound good. All right, great, thank you. All right, so how are we doing today? A little bit stressful, as you can imagine, on our end at least. Haven't been too much sleep since we went live, as you can figure out. So yeah, brief update on what's going on. So we're fully aware of there's quite long queue times, and it's something we are continuously working on. So people are getting in over time, but we know that it's, the time queue can be quite long. We had a patch today, as you know as well, that quite greatly improved the server lag that was going on quite hard yesterday on Mirland. So we're moving forward, but the queues are still quite long, and we are working on that. We have identified the login crash that is affecting quite a lot over time as well in the queue, and we have that fixed on our next build. And if things go smooth now when we confirm that build, we plan to deploy that tomorrow. We have additional important update in that patch that is also affecting Mirland login and performance heavily. So that's why we need a little bit more time. We don't want to push it live today without getting those improvements in as well. So hopefully that will make it quite more easier to get into the game and have a proper performance. So yeah, so that is the server status. And yeah, in regards of that, it's been quite smooth in terms of server stability. We haven't had a single server crash since we launched, which of course is number one when it comes to stability. And we haven't seen many client crashes either, except the login crash that is affecting quite a few people over time. So yeah, we are quite happy with the stability overall, but like I said, we are fully aware of the problems in getting into Mirland. So obviously it's not a problem to get into havens, as you know, but it's now over time more and more every minute people are moving from or trying to move from haven to Mirland, and that is just, you know, a constant flood of traffic. So that is what we are doing everything we can to improve. So yeah, we are fully aware of the queue crash, and we're sorry about that. Obviously not very fun. It's, you know, obviously much more smoother if we can just hang in the queue and sooner or later you get into the game. But yeah, that is obviously ruined by getting a crash and have to wait. So quite unfortunate, and we are fully aware. And so far that crash seems to be fixed on our next build. So the total capacity we have for all our servers is 100,000. I don't know if that was unclear, but over 100,000 in total capacity. But as you can understand, people are moving to Mirland very quickly, which is the main bottleneck in that transition we are working on.
Another one.
So there's yeah, it's quite difficult for me to read the questions currently. It's quite quick here. So the majority of the players are on Mirland already, as you can suspect by the problems in getting into the, and it's, you know, quite less on havens, and that is why it's not a problem to get into the havens. And yeah, it's quite hard to catch the questions, guys, so sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, this is also what we kind of expected in terms of capacity pressure. As we said, we are expecting chaos and madness, which we talked about in the pre-patch days or pre-release days. It's, you know, the biggest challenge of everything when it comes to releasing an MMO. I'm sure many of you guys have been at the New World release. I was there as well, and it took a few weeks until you know, it was easy to get in, and we are struggling with very similar things here. So yeah, so we have a few areas that is pretty much the hotspots in Milan, which is causing some of the main strains. So we are deploying additional servers on these nodes. So this is one step of the part of the improvement to, you know, help with the performance and getting in new players. So as we said before, there's no hard cap number on Mirland. It's more about how we distribute the loads over Mirland. That is also why the continent is quite large. Right now we have 1,000 players in Tinram area.
Oh my god, another
Around
one.
800,000 players, which is causing a big strain on certain setup on Mioland. So, and this is what we are planning to deploy tomorrow. So we're splitting up into additional nodes on Mioland to help offload that insane pressure on hotspots. Meduli is also quite crowded, so there's an area around Meduli that is affected by this as well.
Oh my god, another one.
So the team is doing everything they can. We haven't got much sleep, as I said. We want to get this under control as soon as we can, obviously. And we are not starting any subscription time or anything like that, as you can understand, because we want to make sure that we have this more under control, obviously. So, yeah. And this is also why we are not releasing our new trailer, because, you know, obviously if we get even more players without having this under more control, it will not make it easier for sure. So we will wait a little bit with that as well. And decisions to improve server. Yes, so as I mentioned, we are splitting up Milan into additional nodes that are gonna offload the hotspots that are affecting the main server the most.
Oh my god,
So that is one of the things. And we have fixed the login crash in this upcoming patch as well. And if everything goes as planned, we plan to deploy this patch tomorrow. And that should help with the crash. And we should have much better capacity on the distribution on the mainland, Mioland. How will you fix the crashes? So we have got, so every time you crash, you have a window that pops up that says if you want to submit that crash report, which is great that many of you guys do. And that means we get that crash report and can read it. And that's what our coders have done. And thanks to that, we can solve those crashes. We don't plan to deploy that patch today because we have additional improvements, as I mentioned before, that affects Mioland capacity as well. What time tomorrow? I can't say exactly what time at this point. We are doing tests as we speak, going through this patch that have everything in this. And obviously we need to make sure it is correct and stable as intended. And then sometime tomorrow, we plan to push it live.
Another one.
Thank you guys for all the subscription and gifts. It's hard to keep track on everything right now and cover questions, so bear with me. I'm trying to cover as much as I can here.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
Please wipe dupe code. No, there's no dupes in the game. So, you know, there's nothing to wipe when it comes to that.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
So again, obviously we're not starting any timers, gaming timers, in this current status when there's many players that I can't get into the game. So you don't have to worry about that. when we get this under control, we will get back to that.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one.
Where's Glor? Thank you for buying one of our t-shirts. 4 crashers and log in for GeForce, so no playing till tomorrow. So this is the thing, you know. Right now, there are still people logging in every minute. So there is a possibility to get into the game, but like we mentioned, there's a queue that is quite severe, especially now when we're getting around the peak time on the day. And if you are in that queue for a certain amount of time, there's a risk of a client crash. And that is the crash we have fixed on this next build. So right now it can be rough to get into Milan for sure. Haven is no problem. Anyone can log into Haven, but Milan is where the struggle is currently.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one.
I'm trying to catch a few questions, guys. It's a little difficult. Game can't support 8K. How did you plan on supporting 100K? So, as we mentioned, the total capacity, including Havens, is around 100,000. Myrland is not 100,000. And, you know, we didn't know what to expect in terms of player population, which is just speculation. But when we get it up to a few thousand players on Myrland, that means every minute someone is always logging out, because we have a it's not a regional based server, you know, it's worldwide population. So that means over a period of say 10 minutes there's about 100 to 200 people that have logged out for the day, which, you know, obviously instantly lets in that amount. There's we have a dynamic load indication on the server that is kind of the measurement of how many it wanna let into the game, and that is the capacity for certain areas of the game. When they are overloaded, that means, you know, performance may be affected. There could be great lags or similar, like it was yesterday, and that is like the determining factor of letting in more players. So as long as they're an even load spread out on Myrland, and they're, you know, the server isn't capped in terms of certain loads, that is when it lets in more players. And depending on where players are and what they do, this load varies a little bit. So those are the things we're working on. Again, distributing the loads over different machines and nodes. And we're deploying some of those tomorrow as well, to where we had pinpointed where that bottleneck of load is.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one.
But again, we're fully aware of the frustration not being able to jump into the mainland. We're fully aware, and we feel the same frustration, obviously, as you. So bear with us. We need the time. We are a small team, but we're working day and night to have this sorted. So hopefully you will have the patience to wait with us. And Devious, thank you for the subscription. I'm loving the game. Thanks for all the hard work. I'm so excited that the players have responded so well by buying the game, recognizing such an amazing thing Star Wars has built. Yeah, thank you very much. And like I said, we as a team are very happy with how the first steps have went. If we compare this to Mortal Kombat 1, when we released that game, just as a comparison, you know, we are still a very small independent team. And that's when we released 15 years ago, or what was it, 10 years ago in the first game, the server were running about 15 minutes and then it crashed. Everyone got booted, and then you had to start all over again. That was a nightmare for several weeks, having, you know, total instability on both clients and server. And that was, you know, one of the biggest struggle and battle with the old game. And we are extremely happy that, you know, that is something in the past. Our servers haven't crashed once. We have the stability that is necessary to run the game on a very, you know, pretty much Monday, you know, all days a week.
Another one.
But yes, we have the bottlenecks we're identifying now on Milan. That is the big factor we're focusing on, including the login crash that is affecting a lot of players. So again, we are very happy to have that core in place, and we feel very confident that we just need some time to improve some of these things that are obviously struggling with all of us right now. But we feel very confident that we will reach that goal, and we need some time. That's all we are asking for and need, pretty much. Slow mode on chat. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. As I said before, I'm a total new when it comes to Twitch streaming. I'm not sure how to do that, but let me see. Okay, slow mode. All right. I will try that. Maybe that helps. All right, let's see if this helps.
Oh my god, another one.
Sorry guys, like I said, I'm a noob when it comes to streaming. Learning new things on every stream. Like hunting animals give clear XP. So some of the beasts have some XP now as well, so there's something for sure.
Oh my god, another
Can you do something
one.
about AFK players? So yeah, it depends on what kind of AFK, right? Obviously, we don't want to let people that are AFK occupying performance on the server. Luckily, they don't do much cost-wise when they are just standing there or even are logged out as a ghost avatar.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
But of course, if someone is doing a macro on something to keep giving input to the game, showing that the character is doing action and not AFK, you know, that is obviously taking some cost when it comes to being there as a player. And it's not just a easy thing to identify if you're there doing something every now and then, or if it's left for a long period of time. But obviously those are things that eventually is something we may be able to revisit it to pinpoint them with greater accuracy. But in general, that is not really the bottleneck or hotspot issue that we are facing at right now, which is our main focus, obviously.
Another one. Another one.
Thank you for the subscription. Still going quite fast here. Let me see if I can catch some questions here.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one. Any performance optimization patches planned? So far, the client performance is pretty decent. So there are still several areas that there are room for performance optimization for sure. But right now, everyone is fully focused on the main issues, right? Which is obviously the capacity, login crash. You know, those are obviously the most severe that we are working on right now.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
You guys changed the Luma when you port to Unreal 5? Yes. But obviously now, so all focus goes to getting this under control, right? All areas should be under control. And when that is done, that's when we start looking on the roadmap again. What is the next step? So right now we are not looking forward other than this server capacity and login stability. So when that is in place, that's when we can start. Okay, now we can start looking at the month of playing before subs can be activated. And then we will also go through the next roadmap, finalize that, and put it on the website.
Oh my god, another one. Another one. Oh my god, another one. Another one.
Add a queue position, please. That would be a convenient thing to see for sure. We will discuss that, see if that's a possibility.
Oh my god, another one. Another
Thank you, Henrik. And to the team, launch is always hard no matter how prepared you are. It is for sure. And that we knew that there's no doubt that this will be perfect compared to any MMO release in the world. We are very happy that it isn't close to how it was in the first game. But yes, we will get these where it needs to be. We just need some time. Can you become a vampire or werewolf? No.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
Is logging into Milan basically possible right now, or logging in queue completely broken? We are getting people logging in pretty much every minute. So it's possible to get in, but it can be a struggle for sure. And your client may crash while it is in queue for a moment, which is very unfortunate. And this is something we have fixed on our next build, and we plan to deploy that build tomorrow. We just need to confirm it's stable and approved during this night, and then we hit it tomorrow is the plan. How will the game handle more players? Will I always be in queue for hours? No, so we are greatly improving the capacity by distributing several nodes on the world. And that is what we're doing right now. We're adding additional nodes on hotspots that is going crazy right now. We calculated a peak on 1,000 players in the Tinram district, which is quite insane on that little area. And because we have one of the furthest view distance in any MMO, that means that all those, if you were at the bank in Tinram, you had almost 1,000 players in your interest list. And that means when you update something, other players in your interest list needs to update each other's to get position updates, data, what's your name, your gear, all that. Obviously, we have a LOD, so-called LOD system that is similar to how you LOD mesh in the world, but on the network side. But as you can understand, these updates between 1,000 players in that little area put an extreme strain on our server that is doing the updates for everyone in the world. And that is why everyone got affected by quite some severe lag yesterday. So with today's patch, we made a huge change and improvement in that specific area that made the world lag be greatly reduced. And the next step is to, as I mentioned before, add additional nodes to these hotspots area that we have identified now when players are online. And that is the plan to deploy those tomorrow. That will offload that load quite tremendously. So we'll work on several steps that do great improvements on the server. And this is are the things, we saw similar steps when we did the stress test many months ago, and made the necessary changes to fix all those bottlenecks that was present for us. And when that was done, it continued without problems. And now we reached the next extreme stress that kind of put us to what is the next bottleneck, and how is that, how is that resulting the game server and the players. And when that gets very clear to us, then obviously that's when we have something to work with. Any plans for our streamers? Can we help you somehow? I mean, I think you're already very helpful, and just streaming the game, playing the game, and supporting us, and anything you want and can is obviously something we highly appreciate and we're very thankful for. And we just hope again that everyone have the patience to bear with us to go through this initial rush that is always an extreme challenge for all MMOs, no matter who you are, Amazon, Blizzard, Star Vault, it's just about the scale, but it seems to be the exact same challenge in different forms. And of course, we haven't done things easy for ourselves when it comes to how we wanted to design Mortal Online being a unique MMORPG. Similar technology as EVE Online, which means it's a one world solution, and we built a network code to work with all countries in the world. Obviously, that comes with an additional set of challenges, but it's also what makes Mortal Online exciting, unique. We didn't want to make another WoW clone, theme park clone, or just do something and sacrifice great core features of the game. We could have taken that route, but as you may know by now, we're very passionate about this project, and we want to create something unique and exciting for those players that are looking for this type of game. And obviously, if we would scratch all that, taking a little bit easier route, instances all over the world, thousands of regional-based servers, it would be a completely different game. And obviously, we wouldn't have built the network technology remotely close to what we have done the past years. So, those parts are also what makes Mortal Online very exciting and unique. And it comes with a set of challenges, and we are working on improving those areas right now that is affecting the login step pretty much.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
And the other step also that we mentioned, we always plan to release in a smaller scale, and then over time grow more and more. And our next continent will obviously also allow us to add additional players. But we want to make sure that the size of Milan is like a threshold for all the rest of the continents. And we know, depending on how we distribute the loads, we know that there's a huge capacity, but there's a challenge of, again, how we distribute loads. We can't control players, right? So if thousands of players decide we all want to start in Tinram, that is a challenge, both for client side and in that node. So that means we need to make sure that those nodes are 100% effective for maximum traffic in a smaller area compared to the setup we have right now, which is a quite larger area for Tinram and also other areas around it, which also covers hundreds of players. So, it's like a puzzle on our end, and this is what we're working on now in the core team, going through that puzzle, reading all the data, putting it together, and see how we distribute it in a clever way. And it takes some time because this picture have changed from the beta to the extreme step that happens now. But again, I feel very confident that with enough time we will get this into a the state we wanted to, where we're happy that, okay, now we have an even distribution on mainland. The next capacity is the next continent. I hope it makes sense what I'm talking about.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one.
3K nowhere is near enough users to for a game claim is. So we already have greatly more than 3,000. The problem is that they're on the same location, and that is the distribution load we're talking about to improve. So we already have far more players on Milan than any other MMO server. You know, if you compare, for example, a server on New World, that is comparable to Milan, right? One world. So we're up at 8,200 something, or on one big part of the server setup.
Another one.
Will there be any wipes, rollbacks? No, we will never wipe the game now when we're persistent. And we had a, it wasn't really a roll back at after the patch today. I'm sure you got panic when some of your items got invisible, right? But that was fixed. We knew why that happened, and have that adjusted again.
Another one.
Yes, that crash after you clicked enter nave or enter haven, that is the same crash I'm talking about. So that is fixed. So again, that crash will also be fixed in the plan tomorrow patch. So everything from sitting in queue to enter haven or mainland that causes a crash is pretty much the same crash fix I'm talking about. We're happy with the horse spawn now, and I plan to increase the amount of mobs and creature in the world. So that is something we are quite careful about. There's two factors, right? One is obviously AI cost in the world, and one is balance, and one is how we want the game world to feel and look and play. So it's something we're following and progressing. You already saw in this patch we actually added a few, around 1,000 additional wildlife spread out in the world, and we also decided to reduce the horse spawns a little bit. There are over 1,000 horses in Muirland, but they have had quite a slow respawn rate, and we decided to reduce that a little bit because we know that a lot of people are going through all those known horse spawns. There are additional new ones since we went live, but yes, we felt that they could be sped up a bit, and we will keep monitoring reader data to see how are the player population interacting with the AI in the world, and trying to follow that progression to make sure that it doesn't feel too little or we're getting to the point where it's not, you know, the same type of game where the world should be believable and interesting. When you find something and manage to kill something, it's a reward. But obviously, we can't have it, you know, as maybe on Earth where you have to walk for, you know, half the world to find something by luck because animals are hiding in real life. So we're trying to find a good balance where it feels enough interesting, exciting, rewarding, but also obviously we don't want it to feel too empty. Loving my time on Haven so far. Take your time on Haven. That's my suggestion for now. We are still struggling with Merlin, as you, I'm sure you noticed from people. So if you're new to the game and you're on Haven, I suggest to remain on Haven as long as you possibly can, as long as we have this struggle that we're working on. Because as soon as you leave Haven, you can't go back on Haven on that character. You know, you would have to delete that character, remake it to get back on Haven. And obviously, if you have invested a lot of time, that is not a too good option, I would say. Fix your game. We are working on it as hard as we can, I can promise you. Like I said, I think it's important to see what is the issue here, right? What are we struggling with and what is the real status? We have full stability. We don't have any dupes or critical bugs that, you know, make it impossible to play, other than logging in, login crash, and very long queue times, which we are fully aware of, and we have pinpointed the main bottlenecks. We have put a lot of this on the next test build already, approving that, and we will deploy that tomorrow. That is the plan. So that is why also we obviously don't start any game time subscription or anything like that. You know, everything will be for free until we feel that now we got it under control. I'm planning on add maritime content in the future, such as ships building, shipping, and sea battles. Yes, so throughout the beta we have also gathered quite a bit. What is, you know, kind of the next thing on the map? What does the majority wants in the game? We have a list of magic schools. We're trying to read and see what are people most excited for when it comes to which is the next school. Same thing goes to other features like wagons to pull heavy resources, and ships is one of the big one also that is very, you know, up there on the list.
Oh my god,
Hey, Hammer, with the bottom mug. Henry, thanks for making this game. Can't wait to see the future of this game. Got a question for the future. Can I cast magic with a staff drawn when they come out? And what is the function of Ring's necklace? Thank you for that question, and thank you for buying one of our mugs. It goes straight to the development. So yes, Magic School is one of the upcoming Magic Schools, and it allows you to there's quite a lot of focus on building and crafting your staff and how you bound your inner magical powers energy to this staff, and that works as your main key to casting spells. And yes, you will be able to wield and swing this staff, including hit with it and cast magic from this staff. So it's an interesting school because it allows you to also actually do melee fights with that staff, but also cast spells. Every magic school have different and unique rules and styles. But yeah, to fall back to the previous question, we plan to add ships in the future for sure. It's one of the more growing popular feature over since the beta, and we are ourselves also very keen on getting ships into the world. And that is actually also one thing that, you know, we're trying to look at what helps our population to grow in the future. We know that we need more continents and lands to spread out players, but also ships with the system we're looking at also helps tremendously to bring players into the game world without interfering in certain types of hotspots loads, if that makes any sense. Thanks for the performance crash updates, but do we have anything fun to talk about today? So yeah, I'm here as long as you want me to be here doing these streams. I'm happy to do these streams. I enjoy spending time with the community. And
another one.
thank you for Parafluke. Thank you for buying our t-shirts. You're the man, Henrik. I'm doing my best. So again, thank you for being here and supporting us. And if I always said, if there's an interest in having this direct communication with me and the team, I'm down for that. I think that is also something, I guess, that is not the traditional way that many others does. But since we are independent, we have that control as well. We can choose to how we can communicate with our community, as long as it's giving on both ends and moves us forward in an exciting way. So again, I let you choose lots of the questions and topics, and I always do my best in trying to cover them as good as I can. If we're getting the crash after the queue, will it always happen? It shouldn't, no. So again, it comes to, I don't know if I would say it comes down to luck. If you will get that crash or not, after a certain amount of time, you will most likely get it. And if you're lucky, you're getting into the game. As I said, there are players logging into the game every minute already. And some players are logging out every minute as well. That is one thing of, that is the thing as well. So if we have several thousand players in the game world, we have all time zones. So that means we have Americans, Europe, Asia. So there's always someone logging out, always someone logging in. It keeps the game feel more alive, but it also makes sure that our queue is rapidly moving. So that means that there's a very good chance that you manage to get in, but I can't say when. And obviously, if the crash keep happening before, that makes it rough. But like I said, the crash is fixed for tomorrow, as we have confirmed so far. And yeah, the plan is to get it live tomorrow. With the subscription through Steam with regional prices, considering game is $3 in some region, 15 in some others. So we are talking to both Epic Games and Steam and trying to see what is the best setup. We have a few options that we need to decide. That is that we will public announce on our website. We want to make sure that all countries in the world have their local payment solution options, so everyone can participate if they want to. And we are looking to having the regional price support as well. We have talked to all parties involved, and it looks like this shouldn't be a problem currently. TG Raptor, thank you for all the efforts. I hope this week. Oh my god, I missed that one. Sorry, let me see if I can find it. Where did that message go, guys? Everyone calm down. Long time, more than one player, and I assure you game will be good. The service hosting more than it can handle, so chillax and don't miss the experience. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's fully understandable. Being new here, we fully understand the frustration, right? You're hyped to get going, get to try it, and you bought the game. Fully understandable, and that is why we're working day and nights, blood and sweat, and very determined to make you happy. That is our pure goal. That is everything we're doing.
Oh my god, another one.
I'm trying to find this other message. I keep missing them. Let me see if I can. Where the hell those message goes? I feel such a new one. I can't.
Oh my god, another one.
Sorry, I missed one message.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
Maybe we can write it again. I think I missed a message. I don't know where to find it actually. Wait, so the subscription is not even active yet?
God,
No,
another one.
we're not activating the subscription when we feel that it's unfair, obviously. If you are spending hours in the queue, we don't feel that is fair to, you know, start that time, right? You know, we know that a monthly subscription-based game is not very common today.
Oh my god,
We chose that business model for a very specific and important reason. We believe in pure gaming experience and quality. We want players to, you know, if they like the game, commit and choose to play it and have an active account. And that also means less people that are there here to troll in the game, to ruin it for others, or to try to, you know, make stupid things. And also, we don't want the game to be pay to win, luck content. We want everyone to feel that this is 100% gaming experience. When you're in the game, you have the exact same terms as everyone else. You don't pay to get better, and you don't pay to reach the new lands or new cool gear. All that, I think, is affecting the gaming experience in a very negative way. And we want to offer a unique sandbox MMORPG, and there's nothing like it on the market. And this is something we would like to play. You know, I've been like looking for a game like this since Ultima Line, Star Wars Galaxies, and I think it's sad that there's nothing that goes close to that kind of gaming experience. Today, you know, 2022, why are there no options for those that want it? You know, I know that there's a huge and actually growing audience. I'm not talking about the theme park audience, you know, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, 40 millions of audience. I'm talking about a good amount. You know, if you look at the numbers from Ultima Line, Star Wars Galaxies, Even Line, we're talking in the low millions. And obviously just tapping into that audience is exciting for us because, you know, we know there's that amount of people out there in the world that are looking for something like this that is very different from theme park games. So obviously, you know, we want to make sure that everyone that want to try it gives it a fair chance, and we don't want to start a subscription timer now when we feel that people may be a little frustrated, which is fully understandable, right? I'm still in Haven, you suckers. Temudin. Yeah, Haven is, you know, anyone can go into Haven at any time, which is, of course, very good. And we try to make it clear and update the community that, yes, we are fully aware. It's a struggle right now to get into Midland. We're working on it. And if you're new, right now, I suggest to stay in Haven until that you can see these queues have been cleared up quite a bit more. You know, there's always the possibility of being a queue, but obviously we need to make sure that the queue is reliable and stable, right? What happened to Such Lake? What happened to Such Lake? Why is the central lake of the map no longer called Such Lake? You know, that was the player name, right? Mats have been that create all the lore names in the world, spend great time in creating this in great detail and depth. But you know, it's up to the player. If they want to call it something else, then fine. You know, it obviously comes from an old incident in the first game, so that name stuck. But obviously we present our real name in the game. I think you and the team are doing great, still in Haven, but having a blast, skilling up and learning everything. Very excited to explore the rest of the game soon. I'm happy to hear that, and yeah, again, good call in staying in there now when we know that, you know, there's a current struggle in getting into Midland. Take your time on Haven. Don't rush through it. And the good thing is that you can still work on your character, right? So it's not that you're not being able to progress at all. You can still train your skills and learn quite a lot on Haven. And you can do that as long as you can. So yeah, it's good. Let me go back to Haven. You know, I wish we could do that right now, but unfortunately not.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
Thank you for the subscription, guys. I'm gonna jump down a little bit. I'm way behind again. Let me see.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. It's so fast, guys. So it's okay to farm all the clade gifts we want at Haven before going to Mirland. It is. There's nothing stopping you from training the current skills you can train on Mirland, including clade gifts. So the thing is, obviously, when you're able to go to Mirland, there are far more effective ways to boost your clade experience. You can gain quite a few quite fast and easy on Haven, but quite quickly you need to grind a lot of them. And on Milan there is, you know, just bandits from, you know, 14 to 20 XP to risers 30, 40, 50, 60, and then we have bosses, several hundreds of clade XP. So obviously you can enjoy the game by just playing it with groups or, you know, casually killing things, and you will gain more clade XP. But yeah, you can stay on Haven to progress quite a bit on that. You know, for us, obviously one big part is progressing your character, right? You start quite weak and slow, but we made sure that you progress speed progression quite fast, right? Because it was a common feedback that it felt slow, and they don't figure out that if they just run for about 10 minutes, they're already running twice the speed. It kind of sneaks up on you. But that is the RPG elements. You know, we still want the player characters to evolve, getting stronger, and that you slowly notice that the more things you learn and progress. And then there are different layers of progression on a character. Some are fast and some are slow, some easy and some are more challenging. But you know, the game starts already that as soon as you figure out the basics of all that and, you know, can manage around, the game gives you the freedom of having fun and jump straight to anything you want or end game from pretty much day one. So everything isn't just tied to your clades or your action skills. It's quite more than that, and, you know, the gaming experience. In the future, can we add ping notes into the map for add in example the spawn, horse and bandits camps? Yeah, so the first map you have now is kind of like a basic painted map within the cartography system, which will allow you to later on with skills to map out more detailed stuff in the world, and you can copy them and sell them to other players. But you know, we wanted everyone to get the basic overlay, so you at least know, okay, I'm here in the world, and now, you know, if I want to find another city, I should, you know, use the map to navigate where you may be and where you want to go. And again, that is also something that is, you know, a bit different from World of Warcraft. Again, it's not an auto map that shows everything. You know, you have never been there, but it still shows you everything. It's become the standards, and, you know, it's easy and cool. But again, we think that it gives so much more joy, excitement and satisfaction when you start to learn to navigate for real and experience and discover things your own way on your terms. It gives such a much more meaningful and long-term enjoyment for those players that are looking for this. And, you know, that is why we have specific design of these areas. I wouldn't call that stupidly hardcore just for being hardcore. We're not making a game to call it hardcore. we're making a different game. And actually, if you play some of the games back in the 90s, you know, the first games, Ultima Online, Star Wars Galaxies, and those games, they were not hardcore. But in the nature today, it's much challenging for people to really use your brain today, that some people call it hardcore, because, you know, it's that. I would agree that maybe, you know, the hardcore title fits with, you know, it's a full loot, full PvP. Again, that is also not very, you know, common in most MMOs today, which can make it quite hardcore for a lot of people. And we fully understand also that that is may not be the cup of tea for everyone, right? Because it's a certain type of game experience and style. But we noticed that there's a lot of people that said, no, oof, shit, you really dropped your items when I died. Oof, that's rough. That's hardcore. But as soon as they have just scratched some of the depth in our game and say, oh shit, that is quite interesting, that is cool. Now I'm just worried about full loot, full PvP. I'm afraid of that. And then they've died and lost their things, go back, they craft their own stuff, within 5 minutes they're fully geared again, and think, why was I so afraid of this? Now I just re-gear myself, and if I don't want to fiddle around with crafting, I just go to the broker and buy anything from anyone else, and I'm up running again in minutes. And we noticed that transition for many casual players that was quite anti-loot and anti-PvP, that I kind of adapted to that and saw that, okay, it actually gives more exciting and cool scenarios that are unlike any other MMO. And I've adapted, and you know, I'm not too scared anymore of losing things, because it's not World of Warcraft gear that you grind in, you know, in raid instances for months, and now you got them and you're cool and strong. You know, it's not that type of gameplay, right? You can create everything. Everything is player-driven and player-made. Player-driven market, which again makes it even more exciting. Player interaction. You think if you implement barbershop or something similar to change hairstyles and possibility tattoos paint after calculation? Yes, that is exactly what we have planned. So one of the reasons why you don't have hundreds of hairstyles and tattoos, we just throw them in for, you know, giving you many different cool options to create your unique look. So we put in exactly what we wanted to, which was a fair set of options to begin with, a fully face customized system that makes you look unique. And then in the game, we will enable exactly what you said, a barber skill system that allows players to discover new tattoos, hairstyles, and also there's a nation ranking or nation requirements on several. So as you notice when you create a character, there's a nation rule and there's a clade rule. Everyone can have access to the clades, but the nation ones you need to have certain ranks as well to learn them or even be able to get them. And that also means a barber can learn, you know, an ancient hairstyle in a loot in a cave somewhere, and be able to study that and then offer that hairstyle to other players. So you will be able to trade and sell these hairstyles to others. So you will be able to change your hairstyle, beard, and all that in game over time. And we actually built one step of that already, because you know, I don't know if you noticed, but we had a bug in the character creation where the faces broke up afterwards, so they don't look normal anymore. We have the system now for you to be able to rearrange that back or change that again, so you don't look broken. So that is kind of the same mechanic we are looking for when it comes to when the player will be able to offer this style change. You'll never be able to change your name and your face, because that is how you make a reputation name for yourself in the game world and how others recognize you. But everything else is pretty much changeable. This is the best Hawk role-playing player versus player game. Imagine talking and playing with the CEO. Imagine patches coming out telling you new Magic School release, sending you on an actual quest to search for how to unlock that school. This game is extremely satisfying and interesting with every content update. This coming from a MO1 vet. Thank you. Not falling. Yeah, I mean, if you've been here since Mortal 1, you for sure knows, you know, the red line and what we are going for here. And I'm also sure that you noticed the big step up from when we were young, unexperienced, and went through pure hell with the first game and learned by many mistakes, and now getting the second chance to make Mortal Online as intended so many years later. So it's awesome to see many of you guys here from those old days following us still and enjoying Mortal Online. Need to shut down the server until it's fixed because game is resource competitive and people cannot log in, getting screwed. So people logging in every minute, but yes, it's a struggle. You know, there will always be a queue when there's a peak of population because that is how the system works. If, for instance, 500 people are trying to log in at the same second, that is something you need to split up in a queue, and that is why you have queue in all games when there's a peak of population. So we can never just magically remove that as long as there's a steady flow of players going in and out in the game. That is simply how it works. And we made a game world large for that reason as well, that we know that there's hundreds of guilds that have different types of goals and, you know, incentive for doing different things. But we also don't have siege mechanics and TC in for that very reason. We know that as soon as we release that content, there will be even greater and very more important race towards getting access to that, because then you can be very deadly and dangerous against housing, cities and bases and guilds in conflicts. And obviously when that is a main factor, then it's even more important that things are stable, reliable, getting into the game, right? Because imagine if your guilds are saying now, holy shit guys, we're on a siege, you need to jump in here and help us out. And if you can't, then obviously that will be a more strain and struggle, right?
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
The game ever see control support? It's nothing we prioritize or look into right now, and we also think that it will be quite a challenge, right? MMORPG like this, you do use quite a lot on your keyboard along with your mouse, so I think it will be more effective for sure with that control. But you know, people are trying their own thing as well and set up controllers, but we're not actively supporting other control methods right now, at least. See, I'm sorry guys, I'm missing a lot of stuff again here. Let me see if I can catch up a little bit. I did not alert. Can you see it, please? Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm missing some alerts or some of them are not going up here.
Oh my god, another one.
Spires gonna be tameless. Pet broker has category for spires. Yes. So again, there's a few things in domination that are not fully functional. We have been working on that, but then higher priority hit. But there's a few creatures that should be dominatable that isn't still yet, but they will be as soon as we possibly can.
Oh my god, another one.
Any chance for more dungeons for smaller groups of players, such as 1 or 2? The game foundation is so good, it just needs more variety in PvE. Grinding zombies for cleric gets old, but they're most efficient. Yeah, so there's a few so-called easy dungeons that you can do in solo or just a few. And yes, there are quite a few difficult ones that requires much more teamwork. I would say that some of them actually benefit from not the largest group, but a more tight coordinated group that have proper teamwork. But yes, for sure, we have additional dungeons and expansion on current ones going on that will come in our upcoming patches as well, including easier to more challenging. Based on how subscription model is best for consumer. I mean, it makes us very happy to hear that there's so many of you that see the potential in that and why it can, you know, give you a better product and gaming experience. You know, we are gamer as well, right? I play a lot of games, especially MMORPGs, and I played all types, from free to play to subscription based. And every time I play a free-to-play game, why it's called free-to-play is lunatic, because obviously they're not free, right? If you want to compete at any normal level or look normal or access exciting content, that's where you need to pay a small amount of money non-stop. And after a few months, if you're active and want to be on a proper level, you're paying more than our subscription model. So it's a way to trick players into paying more, because it feels like it's little and it's free. You start out free and it always leads you into paying. That's the whole purpose of a free-to-play model, and that's the beauty of it as well. It's very effective and profitable. But it's sad when a lot of people are afraid of, why are you doing a subscription model? It's so out of fashion. When the opposite should be, why are we actually accepting free-to-play games that are ruining the gaming experience and forces you to pay even more? But you know, that's a sneaky setup with that model. I'm not saying any of the business model are right or wrong or good or bad. I'm just saying that we have designed our game to be the most exciting free experience in the game world without any of those limitations. And then obviously it's up to the players, right? If the players don't think it's worth it, then obviously it's not for them, right? It's just how it is. We can only do what we think is right for this game, and if there's enough players enjoying it and supporting us by paying that subscription every month, just like you do with Netflix, Spotify, and all other stuff, then you know, we are successful running it how we are planning to run it. And so far, the amount of support, you know, the games we're selling on a daily basis now, it is pointing on a very exciting direction for us. You know, we set up a low goal to sell, you know, 10,000 copies, and you know, be able to slowly grow and continue from there. We're up to almost 100,000 copies sold, which is awesome. You know, that is great for us. That is a huge amount, and we're very happy with that. And you know, the future looking very exciting.
Oh my god, another one.
And thank you guys for the subscriptions. Very much appreciate it. Okay, it's going fast again. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to catch up here. Can you explain how health stamina reserves work? My stamina reserves is at 20 out of 40,000, but the bar is always great. Yeah, so that is kind of like a fatigue system that kind of slows surges down, and when you have done, you know, multiple deaths, that is when that gray bar eats quite heavily. And that is also what kind of pushes back the enemies, so they can't just rest, repeat. So it's quite an important mechanic, but it also ties to food, the food system. So you can always sit down and rest by getting back 100% of your current mana, health, and stamina. But to fill the reserves, you need to eat proper food. So that's when it comes down to meeting the local chef. If you need a specifically amount of additional mana if you're a mage, or health if you're a warrior, or stamina if you consume that more, or a mix of that, You can buy those types of food or make them yourself if you start researching, investigating. So you want to eat proper food that fills those reserves. So you eat that food, and that means you're filling reserves. So that means you have so many more consume bars to go through before it slowly start eating from your current health bar again. So it's like it adds on top of your 100%. Hope that makes any sense. Thank you for the subscription, guys. Really appreciate it. What can I do? Sit in the chair. Yeah, so that is one of the RP function that we're working on as well, next to all the other chaos. So we are adding. So there's several areas, right? And we know that for us to show what type of game we're making, it's something that happened early on in the comment beta, especially. People describe Hotline as a deathmatch game, PvP, MMO, and I think that is the wrong label, because Mortal Online is so much more than that. PvP has a big part of the game, and it has a lot of depth, and it excites PvP players, obviously. But it also have equal amount of PvE areas of the game. We have invested a lot when it comes to dungeon and bosses with very specific AI behaviors. And then obviously we have the big RP elements of the game. It is an RPG game after all. So that means we're adding also additional RP elements. You know, we have a very successful VoIP system that we have created from scratch, because again, we wanted that to be a main component that we can rely on in all play situation that Mortal Online offers. You know, there are third-party VoIP system you can buy, but those are more specifically designed for a game like World of Warcraft. And as you know, we're not making that type of game, so we created our own, and it's been, you know, success. You know, people are enjoying the VoIP a lot. It's a blast for us devs to watch you guys stream the game and role playing. It's so entertaining to see when people going in doing that, and it seems to give a lot of joy for all types of players. You know, again, that's not for everyone, but for RP players, this should be an exciting game, because we're going to have so many cool features that really promotes RP. And obviously, sitting on chairs adds to a little bit of that, which we plan to add as soon as we can. When is Unreal 5 coming, and when our new Necrostaff Magic School coming? So the next chapter, so again, first, as you know, we're fully busy with the server work. That is our main focus. And as soon as that is under control, we will continue on the roadmap and also present that roadmap. And we actually got Unreal 5 to a build where we think that, okay, now it looks to be commercially stable for Mortal Online 2, which is obviously the step we've been waiting for, and is very exciting. And it looks to be the case right now. The test we have done last looks very promising, and there is a few very important parts in Unreal 5 that we will benefit from. So we're actually taking a step over to 5 a bit sooner than we initially expected. We thought that the build would be more unfinished, pretty much, for our game, but it's looking promising so far. It's still a little bit too early to say exactly, you know, all that, but it looks promising. We need to do more tests, and as soon as we've done that, we will try to put that on a roadmap, because taking a step over to 5 is also a requirement for us for a few different things we want to progress into in Mortal Online as well. So a bit sooner than we initially expected, actually, but I don't have a date yet. It's too early to say. Really like what you're doing. I have much faith in your work, even though bought some shares in the company. Keep up the good work. Thank you for your support, and always exciting to see new share owners in the company as well. Is there going to be a mage light in the future? Yes. So the first game we had elementalism as one school that was quite popular, and it actually had a spell called light something, and it allowed you to cast an orb that emits lights. We are looking to add a lantern that you can put in your belt, so you don't have to hold it in your one hand at all time, the torch. Looking to add an effect in alchemy that allows you to see better in darkness. And we're also looking to have a few different spell types that emits lights in different ways in a few different magic schools, actually, not only one. And you will soon also be able to place campfires, which also emits local lights. Crashing server fix, great. Server crash fixing when? So we haven't had a single server crash since we launched, which is amazing. What we had was client disconnects. Those have been fixed. And then we got run into server lag issues, which we improved greatly. And then now we have the queue login struggle we're going to fix next or work on. This game gives me a lot of Star Wars Galaxy UO vibes. Started my journey yesterday and loving it so far. I'm very happy to hear that. And there's a good reason why you get those vibes from those games. I would say that those are the biggest inspiration for me personally when designing the game, especially Ultima Line. So yeah, that is also why I recognize quite a bit of the core functions, I would say. Happy you're enjoying it. Once the queue and lag issues would get sorted, what would be the next upcoming content you plan on working on? So there's a few areas that we are working on next to the obvious issues we need to attend to first. We have a few things we still want to add in Mirland, which we will add. There's a few areas we still want to polish and optimize even more on that we know will bring a little bit better FPS in certain areas and stuff like that. And we are still, you know, it's a huge world, so there's may still be things like a floating item in the air or a hole in the terrain. We've crunched through a ton of them, but there could still be cases of that, which we obviously want to make sure that we cover those as well, you know. So we appreciate if you find anything like that. There's a support bug in the game, submit bug, that you can, if you click that and write anything, it saves the location, so our artists can go to that location and fix it. So some stuff of that is obviously one of the focus we have. And we will also, content-wise, we will finalize Necromancy, which is the third magic school. So Necromancy is the school you will see next going into the game. We're also working on, like I said, the transition to Unreal 5 and additional continents. And that continent will also allow us to get in even more players on the main world without having too much of a queue when there are peak times. So that is also an important part. And it's always been the part of the game as well that, you know, eventually over time you will have explored Mirland. And, you know, Mirland is just one part of Nave. We have 5 continents planned with their own unique biomes and styles and creatures and the homes of the other of the different clades, which also gives packs of additional new weapon groups and armor groups for the different clades. So that is a natural progression we will take over time as well.
Oh my god.
So we will have more broken down in small steps that we will put on the roadmap eventually. We just have to go through the release chaos that we are in right now. And as soon as that chaos calms down, that's when we will sit down, go through that roadmap and present it to you guys. Thank you for the donation, Sakers. Keep up the good work. We'll see. Shit. I missed it, guys. Where the hell did I see the donations afterwards? Okay, wait. I may have Found it. No. One second, guys. Where the hell do I see donations? Creator dashboard. Yeah, I'm there. And then I'm such a noob, guys. And where after that? I thought it was activity, but no, I gotta. I don't see them there.
Oh my god, another one.
I do not alert. Can you see it, please? I see that. Aspire's gonna be tameable as a pet broker. Yes. Yes. Okay, I will find it soon, I think. I need to jump down, guys. I'm way behind in all the questions.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
Why didn't you roll back to the version prior to today's patch? It looks like more people are unable to play the game than yesterday. No, we have more players today than yesterday. We have greatly improved the Mirland performance, actually. We still have issues with the login queue with crash. It had been fixed in our next patch, and we will deploy that tomorrow if everything goes as planned. How is it reasonable to fix a critical issue where people cannot log in to your game late tomorrow? I'm not sure exactly what I mean, but that is the prioritized thing we are focusing on right now. We're working on the crash in the login queue. It looks to be fixed on our build, our next build. We need to verify it, so we don't say it's fixed and it's not. It will just be very frustrating, right? Today we fixed one of them. There was actually 2 crashes in the login queue. We fixed one and thought that was it because we didn't get reports on the other one that came after. And now we want to make sure that is fixed, confirmed, and stable, and nothing else messed up. And along with that, we're also adding a very important improvement on Mirland. We've identified hotspots. We have added additional nodes to offload and distribute load on those areas to help the Mirland to process more players more quickly. And that will reduce queue time, and more players will be able to enjoy the game. So it's quite a lot of big things happening, and we want to be sure that we don't do anything that makes things worse. Obviously, we need to confirm that, and it needs to go through a specific testing pipeline, make sure it's solid, because we are on a live environment. We want to be very careful we don't make things worse. And then it will be deployed tomorrow if everything goes as planned. I hope that makes sense. You need some sleep, Henrik, please. There's no time. We want to deliver this game stable as fast as we can. We feel we have equal frustration as you guys that cannot go in smoothly and enjoy the game. We feel exactly the same thing. You know, we are the maker of this game. We're independent. We don't have a giant publisher above us that we can say, you know, we have this problem. Someone needs to solve it. It's all on us, right? We are all here to do everything we can, and you can rely on that. That is exactly what we're trying to do. We are very passionate about getting this on track as soon as we can. Can restart server so people who have not played since yesterday can get a chance to log in today. As I said, every minute people are logging in. It's a huge amount of people going in and out every minute. So I would say it comes down to luck. If you don't crash, you may be able to get into the game at after a certain amount of time. But we know it's not convenient with login crash. It makes it much more difficult. And hopefully that one will be gone tomorrow. Can this game possibly be released on our generation consoles? It can, but it will require quite a lot of porting and optimization in a completely different way than we have built it for a PC. So it's not optimal, and it requires quite an insane amount of work, I would say. And as you can understand, we are a small team. We don't have that focus right now, or the capacity or resources. Our plan right now is obviously get the chaos under control and then expand our team in a proper way and work up the next roadmap to present that to you and work towards the next goal. Do you guys plan to finally add a long-awaited boats? And also, I'm so sad that people was being toxic last night towards the company. You all really care about your game and have been progress real well over the last 7 years. 2 years alone. I'm happy Immortal 2 is finally coming. We obviously it's not nice, right, to hear total trash talk and throwing things, but that is unavoidable, right? Any game in the world, even World of Warcraft, will always attract people that simply doesn't agree, don't like with it, and it's just how it is, right? It's life. So obviously we're not focusing on that negativity, and if they don't like it, fine. It's not for them, we know that there's a good amount of audience that this game is everything for, and that is our target group, and we're very happy to tap into that group, and we're happy that that group is growing. That is our main focus, right? And as long as that is the case, we have a very bright future in Star Vault for the game and for anyone that is interested in this type of game. It would be much worse, right, if there's no option. We don't have World of Warcraft clones, that's it. It's like we only have oranges, we have no apples in the world. Which is quite sad, because I think that there would be more exciting to have more to choose from when it comes to different types of MMOs. Like I said, I'm a big fan of a true sandbox MMO, and there's nothing that interests me the slightest, and that is sad for me personally as a MMO player. And that is why we are making this game, and we are very happy when we see a growing population of players being very excited for this, enjoying it, loving it, supporting it. That's all we are looking for. As long as that happens, we stick to our plan and we'll continue our hard work. And we're super happy that you guys are here to express that, because then obviously that makes it more clear to us that we're on the right path. We just have to keep on going on in the same direction. Now I'm super behind again, guys. I'm scrolling down. Theory coming with Necromancy or before it? I think Thievery will be after Necromancy, if I'm doing my rough head calculations correctly. I could be wrong, but I think so. Let me go down a little bit. Oh my god, thank you so much for the subscription. And sorry if I'm missing any messages or such. Plan should be free to download with sub only. So this is a very expensive project to build. We're talking 16 years of development. We are now a team of 30, and we need to obviously develop the game. We need to set up a server farm with top tier networks worldwide. We need to have a support systems, GM staff, and run the whole company. So that always comes with a huge investment, right? And how do we cover that investment, and how do we make this a business model that makes it possible to make this game? And one of the main option is we need to sell a game. That is how we get back those money, and that is what's happening now. And then how do we be able to develop the game and keep running the servers and the support and staff? We need to have a steady flow of income. How do we do that? Either we do microtransaction, sell out the game in different ways to make you feel you will be better, cooler, stronger if you give us more money, the free-to-play, pay-to-win model. Or we pick the subscription-based model, which is you pay a small set amount, you know exactly what you're getting for that amount, and it's no more, no less, and you will get all free expansion in the future for free. In every second week, you will get additional content to enjoy in the game, and every now and then you get huge new systems and features like ships, thievery, necromancy, and so forth, a new continent. For us it was very easy, and this is what we're looking at.
Oh my god, another one.
Thank you for the subscriptions, Scottish Bug. We'll be hiring a lot now with the increase of cash flow. We're looking to expand, yes. So as you know, we are a very small team. Compare us, we are about 30 people, as I said. If you look at any other MMO out on the market today, from obviously New World is one of the bigger one. We're talking thousands of people involved in that game. Comparing 500 to 1,000 people to us 30, obviously it forces us to do things differently as well. And it also makes it a very big challenge to how can we compete with those kind of resources and have everything on 100% control. Even though, comparing our release with their release and what do you get what do you get in our game, what kind of feature and what kind of experience it is. I'm very proud what we managed to do, and getting the feedback from those that enjoy that, is kind of a good indication of we offer something that is exciting and unique, right? And so obviously our dream have always been, imagine if we had a 10th or 100th or a 1,000th of the resources of those giants. Of course we would have, resources to do even more things great, right? The thing is that if we have a team that are right people for the tasks and experienced enough, and you have a pipeline that works, you can do great things. You can come very far. So that means even though we throw in 100 developers left and right, that needs to be put into use in an effective way. So it takes time to get into our pipeline and learn how everything works. We need to make sure it's the right people for the right task, so we don't add risk in future development, adding risk of having instability in the game. So we do plan to expand, yes, but we need to do it carefully and controlled, and that is something that we're already in that transition right now, going from only development to being a live product company. That transition is already happening. So yes, for sure, we're gonna make sure we reinvest the money we get now to make the game even better and put it on the world map, and stay in the lead and show the world there's a true sandbox game to have as an option if you're tired of theme park games or any reason want to try something new. But in the expanded team, after a stress test, when you had a huge influx of cash, we did. That's how we grew into 30 people. You know, we've been 20 people for quite a while, and we grew to 30. And that is a transition that forces you to, again, adapt to. All of a sudden, we have a much larger team to maintain and handle the communication. Everything changes when you go from 5 people to 15 people to 30 people, and obviously the next one 100 people or 50 people. There's a quite drastic change in all of those steps, and you need to be sure that you have the right pipeline, right position and organization. So it's a very careful process that we need to do correctly to make sure that it improves our situation rather than adding risks or, you know, mistakes or issues that could happen. This launch is still going better than Amazon dealing with their own Amazon Web Services. I mean, I was part of their release for sure. I witnessed the chaos there as well, and you know, I knew that, you know, we're gonna have that chaos as well in a different form, and it's unavoidable. You know, if not the giants with the most resources in the world can handle it, how the hell could we? That's what was our, you know, preparation. You know, prepare for the worst, and you know, be ready, and that's what we have been doing. When will the subscription go in effect? So we will see. Right now we are not touching that. We are making sure that the game get our full attention, get this under control. And then we will see, okay, next step, let's go through that and plan it, and that's when we can, you know, enable the subscription. So we will update you. We will make that publicly known when we take that step. Still waiting for Noob to explain how creating a new character and farming zombies is exploiting. I don't think you guys understand this game. There's no exploit for creating a new character and farm zombies. You're free to do that if you want to. Sub for finally beating the Q bus with no crash boss. Yeah, no, we will get it highly improved, no doubt. I have very high confidence. We are doing great progress every day on those areas that really needs it. Henrik, you're a legend. I hope you get some sleep sometime, bro. I will get my sleep when I'm dead or when we are done. You know, this is very important to me. I will never give up, and I refuse to get this where I want it to be. And but like I said, I'm at the same time I'm very happy and excited. We cannot ignore, or I want to make sure that the team isn't aware of the achievement we've done this far and how the release actually have happened so far. It is by no means a failure or a fiasco. I want to make sure that is very important to understand for anyone part of this journey. So having a 100% stability on servers, no major issue except the login struggle. And the login struggle is quite natural, right? Every MMO game in the world have the login struggle. There's no exceptions. And we knew that, of course, we're going to have that too. It would be pure magic if we wouldn't, right? And then obviously we had no clue what more, right? Before the release, what, are we going to have the situation where the server crashes every now and again? Obviously we were very nervous about that, because you never know. That is the big challenge with this. There's always a new type of stress and pressure on everything when you go live in this kind of environment and situation.
Oh my God.
That was our greatest fear. Imagine if we were back to Mortal Kombat 1 release, when server going down every minute, clients crashing left and right, whatever they're clicking on. That will be a nightmare for us to go through that kind of devastating hit. That will be a very tough challenge for the team to go through again. And I'm extremely happy and proud and for that is not the case.
Oh my God.
And that makes it, so much more easier for us to work with this. Now we have to focus on this area, right? We have the login stress, which we already knew gonna be a stress, and already greatly improving that. And as of now, it looks like we have fixed that crash. Obviously, it's a very good big step in solving that struggle, right? So, so I think that is important to kind of keep in mind throughout the whole this whole release. And it's great also. We see that there's so many MMO veterans in here, right? Many of you guys are not new to MMOs, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is not your first rodeo, right? You've been in many MMO game releases, and you know what I'm talking about here. So it's not what the hell is going on, right? Or that's the indication I'm getting from most of you guys, which obviously is great. We're talking the same language here. Thanks for being transparent with us. I appreciate the real talk. Yeah, I think that is important. That is the thing we always have set out to do. That look, we started with that in the first game. The big difference was we were very unexperienced, and we were trial and errors way forward. Obviously, that have an impact on the experience, having players along with that journey. So that part is very much different. But again, we are still trying to be as transparent and open as possible, communication as much as we can, update everyone as good as we can, and just explain this is what we're doing, and this is what we're trying to do, and this is where we are so far. And I think that makes it makes this journey possible, and also at least gives all of you guys the facts on the table, right? And then it's up to anyone to see and follow. Okay, it's not I want to go into the game when you have thievery, for instance, or necromancy or whatever. That's fine. We have a long journey. We don't plan to do a release. We're not looking at a cash grab. We're not looking at doing a release, trying to sell as many copies as possible, and that's it. Our goal is to grow slowly over time, controlled, and be able to follow these steps. Okay, now we have a new issue, or we got a new bottleneck, or taking those steps and follow through. And this is a marathon race for us. We plan to do this for many years, and Mortal Kombat 2 will be even greater, with so many more features and content and lands to explore years from now. That is the goal. We have a lot of design and planned content for many years to come. And as long as we can grow, we can take those steps even greater. And it's if you want to play the game and support it, then that is what we want to and will deliver. Are there plans for PvE servers? No, there are no plans to split PvE and PvP. For quite important reasons, and we know that this time we want more players in all categories, which we lacked in the first game, and the only reason or obvious requirement to get that is by having proper PvE. That is why we invested quite a lot of time in making interesting PvE. We don't want the traditional WoW PvE where you stand here, it's this level, you kill it like this, all level dependent, and then you go to the next zone and so forth. We want an exciting living world will dangers, can be anywhere. Facing a bear should not be at no risk at all. We're not running around with a level 5 bear or level 100 bear like in World of Warcraft, where that level is the factor. That bear can kill you if you don't have the right gear and are prepared for it, or it will face no danger because you know exactly how to handle a bear. And then obviously we're tapping into the deep dungeons and bosses, which is our tier 2 AI. You can see some of those in the trailer, the big bosses that you have to figure out how to beat them. And they can be from, very, very challenging, and they fight in a very different way. So that, along with open world player conflicts and interactions, it's a huge world. You can choose where you want to be active. If you want to avoid players or hostility, you can, look at other areas of the world. But there's something for everyone. And I also think that it should always be some type of the excitement for the players, that, okay, if you walk around here, you know that there can be dangers both for monsters or even players. And that should add to this full experience. And, as long as you adapt to that and understand that there's no loss that is, a grind in terms of, again, if you want to get high tier gear in a theme park game, you raid that dungeon until you get your perfect epic gear, right? That is not the case in Mortal Line. You can craft your own gear, you can buy gear, and within minutes you're back on track. So hopefully that will be looked at with a fresh pair of eyes, and embracing the excitement what it actually can give, because a player interaction is unique. There's always going to be a difference from AI and player interaction. And if we manage to have exciting different types of players in our game, I mean, already now we have witnessed or looked on streamers role-playing, interacting with other players, and it's a blast. And they have also said, wow, this is really fun and great. I love the VoIP system in this game. It adds so much. And that is what we're talking about. So anyone can benefit from this type of experience. And we just hope that more players and new players will be open for that kind of experience, that it can actually give more joy to your game and unique experience every play session. You never know what's around the corner, and that's also one part of the beauty of it. You can run out of luck, you can lose things, but it can also be the opposite. You can hit a jackpot, you can make friends for life, you can even meet your wife in the game, which have happened several times in Mortal Kombat 1, and it's a unique experience. So yeah. Is my wife in game? You tell me if you're looking for a wife. And there's been several people that over the years we have played the game, they reached out, and yeah, people have made friends for life, met their partners. So and it's a cool thing, to hear that people found their life partners and now have children. It's crazy when I think about it. Started this journey many years ago, and anything goes in Mortal Line. So this is saying, if I buy the game, there's hope for me with ladies. No, that shouldn't obviously be your main purpose for getting into Mortal Line. That is just an effect that could happen in the game. The second login crash, I know, that is fixed. I know, we know. It is fixed, tier extreme. When we deploy the next patch, that should be gone. What's the biggest lesson you learned from Mountain 1? Ooh, what is the biggest one? So hard to say which one that will be. I mean, it's the whole journey, right? 16 years of learning, going through this journey one time from A to, you know, delivery to past. It's so valuable for us that obviously we would never be able to do Mortal Line too close to what it is if we didn't go through these ones. And even though we have done it once, that doesn't mean it's easy. No, by no mean at all. It's still the same challenge, but obviously with experience and having gone through it once, obviously gives you insane value. There's so many loopholes and tricky situation that is very difficult to predict or manage, and having to go through those many times already over several years in the first game is obviously extremely valuable for us, which have made a huge difference, no doubt. And I think it's, you know, hard just to pick one. I would have to think about the different steps. There's always steps in the development where, okay, now we're gonna build this system, and now we're gonna do this system, this area. What are the challenges there, and how does it turn out, and how do they need to change and all that. It's hard to say. I can't pick one thing, you know. It's the whole project that is a challenge from, you know, from start to end pretty much. And you always have to be ready and adapt to that. Anything can happen. That is also, I guess, one of the big thing that we'll learn, that crazy things will happen, no doubt. Players will also find out things that we didn't count at all. You know, there could be game mechanics that are used completely different. And how the community interaction works, the feedback, the data we are collecting, and communication. There's a lot of areas that have been so valuable for us. So yeah, it's, you know, it's the whole project pretty much that is a completely different thing, and that is also why everything is on a whole new level when it comes to the game. How happy are you to see your game succeed, Henrik? I mean, of course, this been my life dream project, and as I said 10 years ago, I will keep doing this until I can't, because I'm passionate about it, and I know that there's a audience for it. But back then I didn't know how big that audience could be, and is the market ready for it then? You know, when we released Mortal 1, we were in a quite different time era as well. The Ultima Online era was past, and the new era was World of Warcraft. That was how our MMO was, you know. All players started to play MMO with World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft made the right things in the right time for that type of game perfect. That's why it also became the biggest one. And we released Mortal Online, you know, close to that era, which was a huge difference in so many ways. And again, that combined with inexperience, unpolished, not finished, a core system, very unstable, you know, that made it very difficult to make it close to a small success, or, you know, a lasting success. So obviously we are very happy to see that all that paid off. We got a second chance to make Mortal 2, and now reaching these numbers are, you know, we set up a goal, like I said, 10,000, and surpassing that in, you know, one day of stress test obviously gave us the indication that, okay, this time it's gonna be different, and it's gonna be very exciting. And, you know, people buying the game based on the stress test back then, giving us donations because they wanted this game to succeed. They wanted to play this game. That gave us a very strong indication, right? And chance we get deal willing soon. We will have to see if that makes it on a roadmap and present where we plan to do that. But not right now. I can't say exactly when. So yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, this been our baby and pretty much life work. So there's nothing more important to me than obviously make sure that Star Wars Mortal Online, you know, gets up there and continue going up. That is my goal, and I feel confident on that. Pre-release Mortal Line 2, we had quite less pressure, so I see that point, but it will be even more enjoyable with more people when we get the queue struggle sorted. So the reason we're not releasing the login crash right now is because we also have additional huge improvement on the server. Because if you get into the game and you go to certain areas and you start lagging, get a bad game experience, that is not good either, right? So we are working on both of those high prioritized areas as hard as we can. And like I said, we do need some test time to make sure that that crash is safe and fixed. So we're not adding something half fixed and just annoys you another day. So I think it's important that we take one day to make sure it's right, and then hopefully you will be able to enjoy it much better tomorrow. And like I said, you can still be lucky and get into the game now. Like I said, every minute people log in and log out from Mirland. Could you turn on PvP in Haven for the time being so we can PvP? No, but what we may be able to do, I mean, we're always open for suggestions, quality of life functions. That is awesome. That is also why we have a direct communication with you guys, because sometimes you come up with brilliant ideas that fits. And if that fits and we can do it, we may consider in doing that, right? And yeah, we heard that, okay, maybe it's good to allow some function on Haven that can allow players to try PvP, train PvP and such. So we're looking to add the /duel function again, so you can at least do that also on Haven. So you know you can choose to test that and play around with that as well. So there's always room for you know, features like that. Maxil, the worst game. All right, I hear you. Like I said, we know that this game won't be for everyone, and that's fine. There's so many more MMOs to choose from, and that's the beauty of it, right? If you don't like something, there may be something else that you like, so that's perfectly fine. Ben Affleck. I don't know. If possible, add dual. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, we are looking to add that function. It makes sense and it gives, you know, value. So yeah, we're hitting close to 9,000 players, so it's slowly going up for sure, which is exciting, of course. There's enough of us who believe in Modline 2 vision to keep it alive. No doubt that there's more than enough. We already have the numbers that, you know, are greatly surpassing our second milestone. So yeah, it's, you know, we are very happy. You know, we we surpassed our goals. So there's no doubt that we are very happy to be in this position. But we can't relax just yet. We want to make sure that anyone that is completely new to the game, have no clue, and maybe, you know, maybe giving it a chance. Obviously, if it's difficult to enjoy the game, then that has a risk of us losing a player that could actually have become a satisfied player. So that is why we can't really relax until we have got that in place. Anteros, thank you for the donation. Never heard of Modline 1 before, so I'm new to this, but so far I played about an hour and I can see big potential and respect and love for the hard work and constant updates you and your team are providing us. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Thank you. And yeah, like I said, I'm super happy to see so many people showing up, finding the game, and you know, we get very happy about just seeing people trying it and give it a chance, because we know the game is for many that didn't have a clue about it, right? When is Doom? Thank you for donation. We're all men hung like horses. Elaborate. I can't elaborate on that one. Sorry. It's just Knave, how it is in Knave. The game of games, baby. Our server's up at the moment. Yes, it is. But there's a few problems with the login step for Milan. There's a crash that happens every now and then when you're on the login queue or trying to click enter Knave. That seems to be fixed already, but it's going in on our next patch, which is currently scheduled for tomorrow. We need to go through it, test it, and there's also another important thing we're adding in this patch. So right now it can be a struggle, and you may need some luck to get into Milan. Haven you can get into at any time, as long as you don't leave Haven, that is. What is a part of the game that needs to be expanded upon the most in your opinion? Hard to say. Like I said, the game has so many areas of gaming style, everything from PvE to crafting to PvP, dungeon writing to exploring the world. I think that we have a solid baseline. There's something for many styles, right? And that is what was important for us to reach that step, because again, where do we draw a line? There's thousands of features, which means the game will never be ready. You know, we can't develop the game in infinity. You know, if we magically could have that covered by someone covering the cost, then sure. But you know, so there's several areas that we know that obviously this is, we want to add more to these areas, and we want to polish a little bit more here. Also, you know, depending on the feedback and bug reports, we see that, okay, so there's this area that seems to have some issues, we need to improve this. This period right now, we are focusing on the gaming experience 100%, the player experience, first of all, before we start adding new features and content in a greater scale. So I can't just say one area. I think we offer quite a bit in every field that is, you know, set where we set the bar for a sandbox MMO RPG. And then obviously we will go much deeper in all of those areas. Everything from PvE to PvP to construction to RP elements and more dungeon hunting and raiding and mystery and lore. I want to push them all as equal as I can, because all of them is equally important in Mortal Online. And that is why I want to expand the team as well, and are expanding it to make sure that we can progress safely in all of those areas and not just stay stuck in one of them.
Oh my god. Another one.
Nesrismo, thank you for the donation. I'm poor but love you, Henrik Installed. All right, thank you, thank you. I hope keep up the good work, sir. Yeah, thank you. What time tomorrow? I can't say exact what time. I don't want to disappoint and miss that time, and that is also because we don't know exactly. It's a process, right? We want to now be sure that when we take down the server, we learned one mistake when we patched today. As you know, everyone got a little shock, thought that you were losing a lot of items. If you remember, if you were here, that was a shock. And obviously we don't want to scare you like that again.
Oh my god. Another one.
So now, okay, look at time. Yes, there is, but yeah, we're investigating. I think I've seen there is some rare cases where some avatars doesn't get logged out. I haven't had the time to investigate fully, and nor not the other guys haven't had time either. But we're looking into that. It could be like there's a rare case where some of them get stuck. They don't cost as much as when you're an active player, obviously, but obviously we shouldn't have stuck ghost characters when they're not supposed to, so we'll look into that. Do you have an estimate on what find to be reasonable capacity for main server in the future if we are at 9k in game now and you intend to try to make cap or 20k? So as I said, we work on a distribution loading and we know that we can push that very far, and the goal is to push it far enough that is practical for Mirland. So, you know, it's not practical to say we want to have 50,000 players on Mirland, because if you look at the space on Mirland and add 50,000 players there, it's going to be silly and it's going to be bad performance, not only server-wide but also client-wise. You don't want to run around with people everywhere and, you know, having 10 FPS because there's crazy stuff going on everywhere. So, you know, and the magical number is still a little unsure, but obviously there are a good number where Mirland feels in a good level, like it's not too crowded but not empty, obviously, and there should still be feeling that this is the vast steppe, this is the dense jungle. If people are running around everywhere there at all times, it's gonna start feeling a little ridiculous, and we try to make a believable real world. So that number is still a little bit unsure. We cannot just all speculate, you know, similarly. But that means that obviously we need additional land to continue growing and accepting more and more players simultaneously. And again, having them simultaneously or active players is two different things. That is also very important to keep those two apart when talking about numbers and things like this. So obviously that means we will need a second continent when we're reaching those higher numbers, and that is what we're also planning for, to make sure that, you know, now we can't push it further, we can't deploy more nodes, and it's not practical to do so on the Mirland space. That means we need to have the second continent now, and that means obviously we will be able to spread the players much more easily.
Oh my god. Another one.
Disaster Days donation with the donation. Thank you, man. Doing fantastic things. Best game I've played in years. Keep up the good work. Thank you. And yeah, it's so interesting how, you know, the game is quite black and white, I would say, for many players. Either it's, you know, the best game ever, you know, exciting, or they feel, no, it, you know, looks bad graphically and plays bad. It's so interesting to see how people experience something completely different. And that is cool, I think. Like, if I'm looking at something and say, holy shit, this is the best thing I've seen in my life, and someone else says, holy shit, it looks like crap. That is quite fascinating, right? How we are so different. But that is also the beauty of things, right? And we know this. That is also why we're not forcing this on someone or expecting that every MMO player in the world will love this game and, you know, think it's the best game ever. And also, especially since we know that this is not a WoW clone that everyone is used to. This is something different, and sometimes different is scary at first glance. But as soon as you dare to put off your blinders and take a look under the hood, you maybe, you know, find something that is worth trying, right? That's all we hope, at least. And then, you know, it's up to everyone.
Oh my god.
Another one.
Dark Quantum with the nation, thank you. Modern 2 is the MMO I always wanted to play and no one had ever made. It's also amazing because the attitude and vision for the company is also inspiring. I want to support you more. Are there any opportunities to help other than just donations? Thank you, it means so much. And you know, what you're saying right now, that is more than we can expect or hope for. Because that is a instant verification on that, okay, we're doing something right here. The game is, you know, an important game for many players, and that is all that matters for us. Obviously, the share owners. I hope that the share owners are watching this and looking at the facts, looking at the numbers, because the numbers and response from the players is facts, right? And that's what matter. You know, we couldn't have been happier on where we are. We couldn't be happier in having the huge amount of support from you guys. And, you know, there will be haters, there will be trolls. Obviously, we're ignoring those. As long as we, you know, focus on what's important here and stick to our plan and move forward, and that we have your support. You know, that's what's important. That's what makes us be able to continue moving forward. And you know, often rewards comes to those that have patience and you know, stick to things, and that's what I'm seeing here. You guys have been waiting, and many of you guys have been part of this journey for so many years, believed in us, and obviously we have never, we wanted to leave, right? And we don't want to fail this. It's equally important for us. So and you know, we're seeing that first important step now moving forward. So yeah, it's exciting. The stock price crashed today. Yeah, obviously I don't try to follow the share price too much because it doesn't follow logic whatsoever sometimes. And then there's also a stock market crash overall. And you know, that's how it is, up and down. As long as we stick to our plan and things are going according to our plan, I'm not worried about that at all. And obviously I'm one of the biggest share owners, so obviously it affects me, but I'm not here for the short run. I'm here for the long run, and I know what we are facing and I know what we're heading, and I feel very confident in the future for, you know, my own share ownership in the company as well. Where can I buy stock? It's publicly traded, so depending on where you are, you can always ask your local bank or broker. Americans usually use Fidelity buying shares in Star Wars. We actually have more and more share owners from America, which is interesting to see. So that's one option. proud shareholders buying more tomorrow. I mean, it's that's the thing. It's a good opportunity, right? When share is low to get in. No doubt. Earlier they said over 100,000 sold. They only anticipated 10k. Yeah, that's the thing. So when I set up our goals and roadmap in the company, our first goal was 8,500. That's where we hit break even, and that's a small amount of number when it comes to any MMO, right? And surpassing that greatly before the game have released obviously gives us a strong indication, and makes us just more excited for the future. And today hitting or getting to 100,000, that just shows that we are multiple times above that first goal. The second goal were around 30,000, which would be an exciting climb, right? And we already surpassed that greatly, and we are on release day 2. So I couldn't be happier at all. And like I said, our goal is not to get a million players. That wouldn't be practical, and we wouldn't be able to handle that whatsoever. So that's never been the goal. And that is also why we want to grow more secured over time. I said that one of our long-term goal that I think is exciting and fully doable, especially when we look at the race now, is Even Line's old numbers around 300,000 players over a longer period of time. I think that is a very realistic goal for the future when we expand the world. And we're already 1/3 of that, which is crazy. So what it's crazy. It's crazy. And server queue. No, I'm not logging in at all. I'm not trying to steal any position from you guys. So I'm gonna stay out from the game and let you get that position, even though it's just one. We don't want more players. I mean, we do want as many players as possible, but I would say over time, because this is also the thing, right? In months from now, we're gonna have more features, and there are again so many different. That is the cool thing with Mortal Line as well. There's so many types of games in one game. We have a lot of fisher fans that loves fishing in the game. Thank you for buying our t-shirt. Love the game. Ignore the idiots. Thank you. We had a huge group that just loves fishing in MMOs and any game. And we have a very cool fishing game, and they're loving it. We have a huge audience of PvP players that loves fight in our game, and we have that, and that is growing. Same thing happening in the PvE in dungeon era now. Having an exciting time fighting bosses in Mortal Line have never been a thing until Mortal Line 2 with our tier 2 AI. That is new grounds for Mortal Line, and obviously we want to push that much further. So just imagine a year from now what kind of features and content we may have. There's so many cool features that I'm 100% sure that even today that there are many players that may not find Mortal Line attractive, but I'm 100% sure that 1 year or 2 years from now, those players will have something that they find very exciting in Mortal Line. And it could be anything from being a pirate, sailing the seas, and doing things like that, or being underwater in exploring the underworld continent, or being a very specific rare mage in one of the upcoming rare schools. There's so many other areas and features coming that is very exciting. And like I said, I'm 100% sure that going through all those players today on the market, you will be able to point on something. Okay, you got me. I want to enjoy that part in Mortal Line. I hate everything else, but that part alone, I want to play around with. And, there's a good chance they may enjoy it. that is my goal, to revisit in a few years from now to see, is that the case? And I'm quite confident that that is a very good chance that that is the case. You should already try to play a game before speaking. I'm playing the game every day and I'm enjoying it very much. Right now I'm obviously working more than I'm playing because we need to get the chaos under control. If I buy the game am I going to play, I want to try it so bad. You can play it on Haven 100% without any problem. The problem happens when you start, when you're trying to go to Myrland. That's when you may have trouble in the queue and crash. And that is something we have fixed, and we plan to deploy that fix tomorrow. So right now, there could be a challenge to get into the mainland. But you can play on Haven as long as you can without any problem whatsoever. That's all I can say right now. Henrik, of the money that Epic Store gave you, is the game going to be restricted on Steam on anyway? Thanks, I appreciate your hard work. So no, Mortal 9 will be available to be purchased from either Steam, our website directly, or Epic Games Store soon. We're not fully done with Epic Games Store. We are a little occupied right now, as you know. But as soon as we can, we will address that last step. We have everything prepared already and talking to Epic Games. So you will be able to buy it from Epic Games Stores also soon. How can I buy a t-shirt? So here under my on the stream on if you scroll down on the stream, it should say Mortal 9 merchandise. That should be giving you the option to buy any of the shirts or hoodie or mug or anything like it. Do you have a date for the new roadmap? Fortunately not yet. It's we need a little bit more time. So as soon as the initial chaos is controlled, that's when we will finalize the roadmap and try to push it on our website. Thanks for making this game, and thanks to the team. Thank you guys for being part of the journey.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
What is your favorite town in game? Ooh, tough question actually. The thing was, when we put the cities in one at a time, the next one was always wow, this is my new favorite one, and then the next came, oh, this is my new favorite one. Also because they're so different in the biomes, right? So it was a refreshing feel when you sit and work with the biomes and the areas for such a long time. Your eyes start burning, right? And when you see a whole new setting and biome, that is very refreshing, right? So I guess that's why I felt that when we went through them all. But now when I it's equal much and I see them all, revisiting them all and such, I think that there some stands out in different ways. I like the grandness and majestic feel of Tindrem. It has some really beautiful areas and shots. The garden is magical. The castle and the far distance to the castle is quite magical. Get some Lord of the Ring vibes, which is a nice feeling. And Medulla have always been a good old goodie. The dry area, Mediterranean biome. I always enjoy that. And then I like the biome, the forest biome around Vada Bhakti Moki, I get the Star Wars Ewoks, what is Endor, you know, that planet. I get that vibe a lot there, which I think is really awesome. And the biome that is also very spectacular, I think, is the one around Tokusai. So I love Tokusai a lot for the biome feeling. It's almost like going to the tropicals, right? It's very, very nice. I love that Asian vibe and those trees a lot as well. So I don't know if I have one favorite to rule them all. I like getting the variation and revisit them every now and then. Do you guys have a favorite city? Which one is your favorite city? Yeah, for sure. The jungle that was added latest, I think it's a masterpiece. It just looks insane. We didn't think we would be able to have a dense jungle like that, because you can't in MMOs when you have this collision and detail level that we do. But they made it work, and it's freaking awesome. We have a real jungle that looks insane, and the performance is pretty good, and you can get lost within seconds, and it's awesome. And you will see more and more wildlife vegetation being interactable there as well. We have a very solid base, but there's a few ones extra we want to add over time as well. Mookie and MK both look gorgeous. I agree that the biome is also perfect. I love that a lot. You see the Steam reviews. Yeah, I mean, the Steam reviews have been insanely high, which is, of course, awesome. And it was quite expected also, you know, if we run into troubles or any struggles throughout the release, for instance, the login struggle, you know, it's obvious that people are not going to be happy with that, and make that clear on Steam, and that's just how it is. But as long as we continue forward and solve these issues, I'm sure, or hope at least, that those players will, you know, obviously consider to evaluate the game rather than a login struggle. That would help us, at least. Why do you sink half of Tindrum? So it's in the old lore. Half of the Tindrum sunk on the water, and so what happened is that several different districts happen in Tindrum, and they kind of left it like that. So the poor district, the sunken district, kind of that was, you know, they were running it on their own, so they just let it be, and people lived in the different districts. Mats can talk quite a bit more exactly on the details of why and how and all that, and you know, if there's interest in that, I will try to bring him in one of our upcoming streams, and we can go at any of those topics you may be interested in. He's the lore master guy. Meduli Jungle Fab Meduli Tokyo. Do you mean Tokusai? Meduli, more curious, my city of choice. Love the place. Is Bea Meduli. Like Meduli. Looks like Meduli is quite popular, right? But a very good spread, and that is awesome, because that's the purpose. We wanted to make all of them obviously interesting for their own reasons, and also a way to spread players to the different areas. Tindrum. Love Tokusai. The jungle is phenomenal. Indeed. My favorite city, Moronkur, Tokusai. Bhakti, Vada, Tokusai, Moronkur, Meduli, Moki. Can't choose. Yeah, right. I think I'm very happy. The team did a really good job. You know, there's a good, and this tells it, right? If people can't pick one, or and we see all of them in the chat here, it means that, you know, they did good. They're all very nice in their own ways. So any chance the game will eventually move away from subscription model? The plan and hopes and goals are that we will never ever have to move away from the subscription model, and for very, very good reasons. And we talked about this very important reason many times, and I think it's good to repeat them many times because it's so important for the game genre, I would say. Thanks for buying one of our blue Mortal hoodies. It's awesome. It's super nice fabric. I have one and I hope you enjoy it. So just quickly why the subscription model is so important again, because like I said, I think it's worth spreading this to MMO players, and hopefully they will consider it and see why it's quite important if we want different types of MMO in the market with options which you can pick and choose from. It's all the consumers, right? They're the determining factor if there should be this product or not. That's just how life works. We had the two obvious options, right? Use the subscription model or the microtransaction free to play. There is no such thing as a free game. If it's successful, they're making a lot of money on it, and the money comes from you guys. And that means they need to put up a system where they make you pay for the game. And how do they do that? They call it free, so you start for free. And as soon as you get hooked and interested in, okay, I could get even more strong or powerful by paying this or buying this axe or whatever for $5, it sounds cheap, right? And you pay when you want, so it feels comfortable. That's perfect, and that's why that business model have been growing and taking over quite a bit for a while. But there's some great downsides with this, which affects you, not the companies, and that is gaming experience. First of all, there's a lot of crap commitment in a free game, because you can go in there and just troll everyone, throw shit everywhere, and don't care about it because it was for free. There's no requirement or commitment or anything like that. So first of all, we're going to have a lot of less of that, no doubt. Less people that tries to cheat and do stupid things. So that is a big win already there. The other parts is obviously like I said, if you want to compete in a proper level or get access to new cool areas or lands or look better or beat PvE even better or PvP, you have to pay money non-stop. And eventually after a few months you're paid much more than the traditional subscription fee. And that's how their business model works and why they're so successful. So we don't want to go that road if we can avoid it and deliver a pure gaming experience instead, without any limitations, locks and crap. And it's no more than that subscription model, and you'll get all expansion for free, future features and content updates for free. And we strongly believe in that your gaming experience will be so much greater. And you got the best community manager I've ever seen. Thank you. I mean, I'm not the community manager really, but I guess in one way I work a little bit as a community manager. Again, we are looking to expand in all areas, so we are effective and do what's needed to move forward. So, but yeah, so far, things have been working well how we do things right now, and we try to expand and improve it only from here on. The game works on the Unreal Firewall partition functions, thinking about server cap of some sort of for the future. So there's two things when you build a game like this. There's a game render engine, which is the Unreal Engine, and then there's a network solution, which is our own network solution, which we've been building on for over 10 years now. And there's nothing like it. It's one of a kind, and there's something that gets similar to the same technology setup, which is Line, one world solution with a big amount of server nodes that handle data distribution. So So there's we can't utilize any of the network functions in Unreal 5 because it's not supporting our world scale MMO solution. But we can obviously utilize as much as possible when it comes to the rendering part of the engine, which is improving greatly from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5. It was a huge step from 3 to 4, and it's going to be quite a step from 4 to 5 as well in terms of what we can utilize and push the game even further when it comes to visuals, performance in different areas. And those we're going to benefit from greatly. Wow, I'm super behind, right? Let me scroll down, guys. I think I'm super behind. I'm too slow, guys. I'm jumping down. Oh, that's right. Bottom out. Keep up the good work. Love your game. No other game like it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy that mug. Yeah, I hope Unreal 5 will fix rendering where I can't see a player gear and they look naked until. Yeah, so that is nothing in the engine. That is the network solution, and so the reason for that is it's quite complicated what happens there, but that is different things happens there. So it also depends on where you are in the world and how you move forward against each others and such. If you travel against a node line, for instance, and you're just on the line and he just goes out from the line, that can make that experience worse, which means you will see his information late. That can be inconvenient for sure when you can't identify things in time. But it's also one of the big things that makes it possible to run a world scale solution, and also allows us to actually have the furthest character draw range in any MMO we know of currently. But yes, there are some situations where it's not optimal in terms of identifying someone. But remember, it goes both ways. So it's not that you have that disadvantage only. Everyone has the exact same situation. So it's something we have to adapt to and use. But we do think that we will be able to revisit that when we have time to tweak it a little bit, because we know there are some things we may be able to do to improve it a little bit. But it's something to consider right now that it's not just a quick change in the range. It's so many different layers of data that are being transferred between the clients, which is also one of the big magic areas that makes things quite impressive. But I know, I mean, it's not super convenient, but it's the same for everyone at least. And we plan to revisit, like I said. So we may be able to tweak it in some ways to make it a bit better. Henrik, thanks for the artwork. I'm worried about the team. How is moral? Farmer Joe specifically seemed like they're having a rough time. I mean, sure, there are some stress. That is unavoidable when release. And, less sleep and stress, that's quite avoidable in any release like this. And of course, we try to make it as good as possible. We can't just I don't want anyone in the team to work until they crash. Obviously, I want to make sure that they can be healthy and focused and do right codings, obviously, and then take some rest, sleep, and then we continue.
Oh my God.
That is important, and we always have a good open communication to make sure that we know what's going on, and we can't obviously just expect magical miracles and working 24/7. That is obviously not practical, right? And that is something we obviously need to make sure that we follow carefully. But I mean, they're part of the excitement and joy as well when it comes to the big step we take and the big interest and support, which is a big motivation factor and energy booster. But of course, we feel the stress that, yep, this affects many players, not too happy about struggling in this step. And we want to do everything we can to solve it as soon as we